In this video, what we're going to cover is nothing really new, but more so just some simple CSS rules you can use to increase the, visual appearance of your content. Specifically on the article tags that we've been working on. So, they are functional in a sense right now, but they're not really visually pleasing. And there's a few rules that we can apply that will really, quickly clean this up. So the first being they're right next to each other. And in order to fix this, we just have to apply a quick fix to our margin rule in the article tag. Right now we have it set to 0 auto, which will center it horizontally. But when you have 0 pixels, that means 0 pixels up and down, and auto meaning center it left and right. So if we just do 50 pixels, for example, you get that nice separation between the two now. That makes it a little easier to see the disconnect between one content set and the other. And then the next thing we're going to add is a border radius. And we're just going to add a very subtle rounding of the corners to make it a little just easier on the eyes. So if we type in border radius, let's just do 5 pixels. So just a little overall cleaner. And let's get rid of this border. We don't need it anymore. Then we go back and forth, it's gone. But you can see we need a little bit of separation between the white and the gray just to make it pop a little more. And to make that happen, we're going to use box shadow. But not in the same way that we used this rule right here. So you can see how it's hard lines. We're going to use a soft style of shadow. And to do that, we do not require a horizontal offset, nor do we require a vertical offset. We want to blur the color though, let's say 20 pixels, and we want it to spread out, meaning kind of like the thicker component of the spread, to be about 15 pixels. So we want the blur to be slightly stronger than the spread. And then I'm going to use gray because it's just easy to give you visual context for this. And now you can see it's kind of like shadowed, almost like it's 3D. Doesn't look good with this color. So I'm going to show you how you can leverage a little bit of the Google developer tools to interact with your code in a real-time manner. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I've saved everything before I open this up. And now you can see we have our spaced out, shadowed, styled article tags here, but they don't really look good just yet. So if you press F12 for Windows computers or Control Option I for Macs, you'll open up the kind of dev section of your Chrome browser. We're going to inspect the element by using this mouse and circle icon, and we're going to select our article tag. Now you can see it's highlighted it. It also shows you the rules that are associated with it, and it shows you the border one we turned off, so it's not checked. And we're going to interact with this box shadow rule. So we're going to click the swatch, and then we're going to click this gray color to be the exact same. Because that way we can see what we're working with and just slightly move it. You can see if you move it all over the place, you can change the color. But we want just a ever so slight contrast of what we're working with. That way it just looks ever so slightly that it's popped. And then we can actually play around with this. So you can see now what level looks the best for you. And I think about 5 pixels spread and 20 pixels blur. It's looking pretty good. And then we're going to, if you want, you can even add the border on if you're inclined to, just to give a slightly darker contrast around the edge, if you wanted. That's up for you to decide. But now you can see that it's just a lot cleaner looking than just a traditional slightly darker version of the background and squared off article tag we had. And this is the nice thing about using the developer tools for Google Chrome, is you can just highlight this entire rule like this, press Control C to copy it, go back to Dreamweaver, and go over our old article rule, press Control V to paste over it, save, and now you can see it's emulating that rule that we just had running in our our developer tools for Google Chrome. It's a pretty useful tool when you practice a little more with on how to just kind of preview what you've done, modify a little, copy back in, and so on and so on.